Mars I've already covered, and we have Mercury. Mercury represents your intelligence, discrimination, speech, expression, education, learning, mathematics, astrology, logic, medical knowledge in profession, writing, publishing, acting as a middleman. I told you that Mercury does represent, see this, the list is endless. I've just put in a few. Mercury represents the middleman. I told you that Mercury has a strong representation to the middleman. Because it is also related to your profession. Okay, and it is also related to 10th house Karaka. The 10th house Karaka, it is the middleman. And second thing is that it is also very the trade-like qualities that you need. The thought, one thought, that stray thought that comes into your mind, which is represented by Mercury. Mercury, in essence, also represents your thought, not your mind. Your mind can keep on changing. That one stray thought that comes as a small child who moves into your life and changes the entire cycle of life, Mercury is such as that. One small stray thought, a good one or a bad one, has a propensity to change your entire day. So if you have a good child, then you have a happy life. If you have a bad child, then there's nothing saying to it. Grammar, dancing, mixture of things. Told you Mercury takes color from everything. Leafy trees, testing of precious metals, amulets. Mercury has a strong connect with the occult. To be into occult, to do occult, you have to have a very strong, focused mind. Your thoughts have to be very streamlined. Mercury is also maternal cousins. Jupiter is wisdom. Jupiter is learning. Jupiter is fat in the body. Jupiter is axis. It is religious merit. It is devotion. It is holy places and structures. It is proficiency in learning. Philosophy, it is giving alms. It is to know the balance. I think there are a number of mistakes in this particular segment of Jupiter. It is also a religious preceptors. It is fruit-bearing trees. Know that Mercury is not about fruit-bearing trees. When you see a flower-bearing tree, know it's Venus. Jupiter is a fruit-bearing tree. So Jupiter, wherever it sits, it will give you fruits. Meaning that whatever you have done, Jupiter has a tendency to give at that moment. Jupiter does not delay it for long. It could give you the fruits in that lifetime also. Venus is flower bearing. Wherever Venus sits, it spreads fragrance. So if Venus is sitting in your 8th house, the people, your spouse's family could be spreading fragrance in your life. If Jupiter is sitting in your 5th house, your children will give you the fruits. Your children will bear good fruits in life. As long as for the higher ones, it's not Karako Bhavnashaya in D9 also. Okay, the word Karaka literally means, as again I've said, what it does. Again, I'm continuing with Saturn, Rahu and Ketu. It is longevity, it is disrespect. If Saturn is badly placed in your chart, the place where it is sitting, either that person will disrespect you or you will disrespect that person. It is learning of foreign languages and sciences. It is minerals. It is things that are deeply buried into the earth. Know that for things which are deeply buried into the earth and coming out from there, Saturn represents the 10th house. It is also the lord of Capricorn, which is the 10th house of the natural zodiac. And it is the earth element. So it is digging deep. It makes you dig deep. It is servants, service, servants. We've seen that Saturn is Karaka a number of times. So somebody who has a well-placed Saturn in their chart will have the leisure, the luxury of good servants. You've done something good relating to servants in some lifetime, so you are getting that benefit in this lifetime. Service, steps, cruel deeds, and it is also lameness. Saturn is limping. In BSPs, we also teach about the limping Saturn. Very old people. Saturn is old. It is very far off. So it also represents very old people. Rahu is paternal grandfather, maternal grandmother. Fallacious arguments. Somebody who's, makes false arguments. Harsh speech. Rahu is also gambling. Obsessive compulsive gamblers you can see with Rahu effect. Fifth house Rahu, obsessive gamblers. Movement, traveling, wherever, as I said right in the beginning, wherever Rahu sits, it creates an obsession because it needs a perfection. Now that obsession has a way of moving from good to the bad. Fifth house obsession could also be about mantras. It could also be mantra siddhis if it is good. But if it is not so good, it could also lead to gambling because fifth house also represents gambling. You could have foreigners. It also represents sharp pains, eczemas, I told you, skin rashes, swellings in other parts of the body, snakes and snake bites. Rahu also represents widows. So association with widows. Ketu is maternal grandfather. It is also paternal grandmother. It is also consumption, which is, in the olden days, everything could be, anything that was not diagnosed was, given the throne of consumption. He's suffering from consumption. Pain, fever, wound, witchery, horned animals, cock birds, variegated color, philosophy, devotion, and salvation. This salvation, moksha, and mukti is one thing that is totally the purview of Ketu. In your Ketu period, you will generally move towards these. Now, finally, one thing that is very strongly represented by Ketu is dogs. Dogs hold a very strong representation with Ketu. Coming to the beauty of our charts. If you people have charts ready, you can just put this thing, BPHS and many other texts also give us the years when when all the planets get active. One such set of years I have tried to put it in front of you. Sun gets active at the age of 22. Moon gets active at the age of 24. Mars at the age of 28. So if Moon is sitting in your 7th house, you could get married or you could move into a relationship at the age of 24. If it is sitting in your 10th house, you could be moving away for your job at the age of 24. Or your father could be earning a significant income at his age of 24. 10th house is also the second house from the father's house, 9th house. So your father could be earning a significant income on the 24th year. For all who want to predict, this is one set of prediction that never goes wrong. Mercury at the age of 32, wherever Mercury is sitting, it will help you work at that age. You are the significator of that house very strongly. There will be a change with regard to Mercury. With your thought process, with your ability as an accountant, with your maternal cousins, you could have a difference, or you could have a strong affinity with them at this age. If it's sitting in your 9th house, okay, let me take an example of 11th house. If it's sitting with your 11th house, all of a sudden you will see that you are becoming a technocrat. Because Mercury represents your so many things amongst your communication, and 11th house is advanced communication. So you become a technocrat, and you will be making up so many groups. You will be meeting with so many people. All of a sudden you become a social being at the age of 32 if Mercury is sitting in your 11th house. Or if you could become more learned, you could move into different sciences, because it is also the house of futuristic learning. Saturn, Venus 25, Jupiter 16. So if you have Jupiter at 16 in your 9th house, know that you could have won a medal for sure, because 9th house is the house of higher learning, and Jupiter sitting there, that is considered its own house. So you could have won a medal somewhere. You could have gained recognition in some part or some place. Rahu and Ketu are 42 years and 48 years. That is generally a time when you see a turn around in your life, and you see a lot of things happening in your life. This period is very vibrant, because Ketu is your inlet of karma, and Rahu, as per Jain Saab, SP Jain, you will have Ketu is your inlet of karma, and Rahu is your outlet. So you would be doing things karmically born to do them. Do we have questions now, Inge and Vittal?
Yes, we have questions. There is a question from Saurish Sharma. He's asking, it's in line with the earlier question. What about ascendant with multiple planet, Mars, Venus, Rahu, Villig, and how multiple conjunction in the ascendant is different from multiple conjunction in other house?
It's a similar thing. It's a very strong thing. These people, it's the same. It's the same. First and foremost, you will see as those people will be affecting, as I said, you take the degree of the lagna, you take the degree, you go by the degree. Those people will be affecting you more. Those Karakas will be affecting you more. If you have Saturn at the lowest degree, if you have Sun at the lowest degree, your father would be a very strong influence in your life. Your teacher could be a very strong influence in your life. Or you could have an colossal ego. There is nothing that would stand ahead of your ego. Or you could have a very strong self-confidence and Atma Bal. If it is aspected by Jupiter, you could have a very strong sense of false ego where you see none before yourself. If it is aspected by Rahu.
Again,
as you move up, I'll just continue with it. As you move on, you will see Saturn, and if you have Mars, Jupiter, so on and so forth. The highest one takes the degree with the highest, the planet with the highest degree is the one which will have the least influence, and the one with the major degree will have the highest influence. Okay, Vittal, I'm done with this question.
Yeah, there is one more question from Saurish Sharma. He says, what if Mercury is conjunction with Sun that represents heat and Saturn that is cold, and we consider that Mercury acts like planet with which it conjuncts with. So here, how we will determine the result, and let's say degree wise comes Saturn first, then Mercury, and then Sun.
Okay, so Saturn will take the first call. Saturn is traveling slowly. Mercury is the one that will touch Sun first, not being touched by Saturn first. So in effect, the person will have a temperament which is slow to anger. But once the person is angered, because I've also said Mercury is volatile, the person will absolutely go berserk.
There is a question from Amrita Tiwari. Question says, Rahu gives gambling. Does it benefit or loss? How to see?
That I'll leave it at that. Gambling is not good. I can only tell you that gambling is not good. Rahu is a very shadowy planet. How to see whether it's giving gains or not, that is something I'll leave. One thing I will put in one advice. Rahu is it is a shadowy planet, and it lures you into its trap. Come into my parlor, said the spider to the fly. It is exactly what Rahu does. Rahu lures you into your trap. during its period, during its transit, it provides such a beautiful picture, such a tempting picture that you're bound and you follow it blindfolded. Then you move into the trap. Then Pandora's box opens up. Start gambling. Initially, it will give you a lot of wins. And then, once you start heading down, you do not know. The netherworlds will be low. I mean, if it could get lower than netherworlds, it will take you there.
There was one more question, Anuradha, which was that after the age of Ketu, which is 48, there will be no further activation?
There will be a lot of activation. I have just put one set of ages here. There are many sets of ages. Yeah, we tell you that, we tell you what I have covered so far is just a preview to what we teach in our basic course. We cover more extensively, more than this in a 2-hour session, which runs to around 5 hours, 2.5 hour sessions, which runs to 5 hours more extensively here. I've tried to put in as much as possible for a 2-hour session.
Yes, it was a lot of information, Anuradha. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ingrid.
We run through it.
There is one more nice question which is put here by Umachari ji. The question is, how does Karako Bhavanash work or not work? How to understand?
Umachari ji, looks like you are an advanced student. I do not know you personally, but by your questions, I can only think that you are an advanced student. Karko Bhavanashaya, we need to take. I will just give it 1 minute if you will understand. Fine. Otherwise, really for the basics, I need to cover a few more. Karko Bhavanashaya is if in the relevant D chart, that especially in case of your relationships, be it D7, be it D9, be it D12, or be it D3. If Mars is in your Lagna of D3, and it is also in your 3rd house in the Rasi chart, know that there will be certain problems with your brother. Either you will have problems or he will suffer in life. If Venus is positioned in your chart, in a man's chart in the 7th house and in Lagna in the D9, he may have troubles with his wife. In case of a man's chart, it could be Jupiter also, or Mars. Sorry, in case of a female chart. So, I think I've taken more than a minute.
Then there is another question by Jayatri Srivastava. The question is, if Sun is in the 8th house in the Pushkarna Vamsha, what does it signify? Does it mean that Sun will help us realize our hidden talent? That's the question.
Well, all above the basic course, but yes, Pushkar is something that Pushkar means to nourish. So if you are moving in the right direction, the Sun will help you nourish not your hidden talents. It will help you because the 8th house is the house which remains hidden. So it will help you nourish your spirituality. It will help you nourish things that people will not be able to see in the open, but you will surely know.
There is a question from Nicole Brené. The question is, when planets ripen, that means it reaches their age. In the 1st house, what does that represent?
Okay, if it will represent it will represent something that will significantly happen to you depending on the planet, the houses that planet represents in your chart. If I'm not able to come across, let me tell you again. If you have Mercury, which is there in the Lagna in the 1st house, and it represents the 8th house and your 5th house in your chart, so it could represent a transformation in your life regarding children at the age of 32. because 8th house is transformation. I'm talking about Aquarius Lagna here. 8th house is transformation. Mercury is the lord of 8th and 5th in such a case. 5th house is children. It is about transformation regarding the children. And it will affect you.
Thank you so much. That makes perfect sense. Very good explanation.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So questions are becoming very particular. I think this is not the framework we are providing today to give room for so many detailed questions, because it might be very late in India too. I don't know
Yes.
how much further we go with the presentation.
It's time. It's 15th August, nearly 15 minutes down the line. It will be 15th August, and we can all sing Jana Gana Mana after that, because it's really getting late in India now.
Yes.
Okay, this is one very interesting thing that I want to discuss, because this is the last thing that I'm going to discuss. I hope everybody is over with the questions. So far, so good, because
I don't know, you have not, you have mentioned that.
Yes, please, Inge, please continue.
Usually this is a 5-6 hours class which you are providing here for us today. Yeah.
Yes.
So there's
yes.
a lot of informations, and please do it.
Okay. So I think beyond this, I will take questions only pertaining to this topic. This is one very interesting topic. That is Sam, Dam, Danda Bhed. My basic course students who are here with us, the previous class, they have also loved this topic that is called Sam, Dam, Danda Bhed. There are 4 ways. The Vedas or the Puranas and our Shastras tell us that there are 4 ways to win over a person. It's called Sam, Dam, Danda, Bhed. Sam means samjhana, to counsel them properly, to sit and to tell the person how to go ahead. That is the job of a counselor. Dam means to win the person over through bribery. Danda means to punish the person. And Bhed is essentially a spying kind of activity, wherein you can actually know you can get to know the loopholes of the person, and then threaten the person with that kind of thing. You kind of get to know the background, the root, and then work on that background and root. It's also to do with spying business and espionage. You come to know the weaknesses of that person through this. Okay, coming back to Sam. Sam is ruled over by Jupiter and Venus. So it is kind of counseling the person. When we first see which is the strongest planet in that person's chart. The person we want to talk about. We know that this person can now be brought to the table through one of these methods. If Jupiter and Venus are strong, that person can be made to understand a few things with a very open heart on a very congenial environment. If it's Jupiter, it's a proper counseling, like a teacher or a parent or an authority can sit and give us counseling. As I said, there's a difference between how Jupiter, though both are gurus, but how they operate makes a difference. If it's Venus, it's somebody who very laughingly, very lovingly. Jupiter is also lovingly, but it is with an upper hand, that of an elder. Venus is like a friend. You sit with a person, you talk out with a person, and you counsel the person to do something. You try to make the person see reason. Dam is bribery, trying to buy that person. You offer monetary gains or some kind of incentive for him to change his stance. So the under the table activity that is happening is with the Sama. It's a Dama, or it's the Dam or the Dand and the Bhed. Will come later, but it's Dam. You're trying to buy the person over with bribery, with an insight. Okay, if you have a moon in your 5th house, you can buy the child with a chocolate. Okay, I'll give you a toy. Let's bargain. I give you a toy. You do your homework for today. I allow you 1 hour of internet once you finish your day's work. But if it is with Jupiter, aspected by Jupiter, you tell the person, and then you know, if the person has Jupiter aspecting moon, 5th house, your 5th house has Jupiter aspecting the moon in the 5th house. Or person's chart says that his Lagna has moon and is aspected by Jupiter or Venus. If it's aspected by Venus, you say, come on, you can do it. I just expect you to do it. That's the friendly way of getting the person around. See, if you do it, then that's your report card, which will reflect a better grade. But if it has Jupiter, then you just say the person, I want good grades from you. I hope you can make it. And you can only do it when you are studying hard. You are buying the person over with good counsel. If there is no effect on that moon, you know, or if there is an effect of Rahu on that moon, you know that the person, when you offer the person 1 chocolate or 1 hour of internet, he will bargain you for 2 hours of internet, because Rahu wants more. But if it has Jupiter, this is the kind of conjunction that we will be teaching you practically. And see if it works or not in your charts. Find out the strongest planet. See how you get counseled. Do you really get counseled? Do you get bought over? Do you go for punishments? Are you afraid of punishments? Saturn and Mars rule over, Mars and Sun rule over punishments. That is dand. You're afraid of punishment. Tell that person, the 5th house as Saturn or Mars aspecting, 1 tight slap. If you do not work, that person will come straight to the table. Or okay, you do not do this, this does not happen for you. This is your punishment. This works with that person. Bhed, tact or diplomacy. You know something, inner secret of the person, and it helps you say, okay, sir, we found this black dirty trick about you, but black deep dirty secret about you. So you want to come to the table, or should we flash it? So you tell your child that if you don't study today, then I'll flash your last term's bad marks. That is Sam Dam Dandve. That is Mercury and Saturn working. Because Saturn, trust me, makes you work. Saturn makes you work. It will get you to do that work, whether you want to do it willingly or not. Saturn will leave you at that, do it, but Saturn will make you work. And if you don't work, it will rake up a past bad deed to make you work. With this, I finish my presentation for today. I hope it has been of some use to you people.